Before the iconic voice, blockbuster monologues, and Hollywood fame, Samuel L. Jackson was just a misunderstood kid with a stutter who turned his greatest weakness into one of the most recognizable voices in the world. This is the story of Samuel L. Jackson.
But you men played like champions. You never gave up. And champions hold their heads high. What you achieved goes way beyond the win-loss column or what's going to be written on the front page of the sports section tomorrow. You've achieved something that some people spend their whole lives trying to find. What you achieved is that ever-elusive victory within. And gentlemen, I am so proud of you.
Born on December 21st, 1948, in Washington, D.C., and raised primarily in Chattanooga, Tennessee, Jackson grew up during segregation in the American South. He was raised mostly by his mother, Elizabeth Jackson, alongside his grandparents and extended family. His father lived separately and struggled with alcoholism, before eventually passing away from alcohol-related complications. From an early age, Samuel experienced instability, absence, and emotional hardship. But one challenge affected him more personally than anything else: his stutter.
Growing up, a stuttering black kid in segregated Chattanooga, Tennessee, in the 50s, didn't quite make me think I was going to end up in a place like this. I stuttered, my friends laughed, I beat them up. I got to school, people laughed, and I shut up. I shut up for about 4 years, from the first grade to the fourth grade.
It wasn't mild. At times, the stutter was so severe that certain words completely trapped him. He knew exactly what he wanted to say, but physically couldn't force the words out. The more pressure he felt, the worse it became. Kids laughed at him, teachers struggled to understand him, and over time, he became deeply self-conscious about speaking at all. For many people who stutter, the battle becomes psychological as much as physical. Anxiety builds around communication itself. You begin fearing the embarrassment before you even speak. That fear creates tension, and the tension makes the stutter even worse. For Jackson, it created a cycle of frustration, isolation, and anger. Years later, he would describe feeling almost imprisoned inside his own voice. But then something unexpected happened.
What were you like as a child?
I was a stutterer when I was a kid. So, kids made fun of me and they laughed at me and they ridiculed me in a different kind of way, like mean kids can be. So I felt like I was peculiar or unusual or whatever, until, I adjusted to it.
And how did you then overcome that?
Don't know. I'm not real sure. Wasn't a lot of speech pathology involved. It was a matter of, like my mom and my cousin always tell me, take your time, breathe. So I learned to do it, and it works. And there are times when I try and talk too fast or I get excited, and it all comes all the way back.
As a child, Jackson noticed that when he pretended to be someone else, reading aloud in different voices or performing characters, his stutter sometimes disappeared. Suddenly, the words flowed. For the first time in his life, speaking didn't feel like a battle. That discovery would change everything. After graduating high school, Jackson attended Morehouse College in Atlanta, originally planning to study marine biology. But the late 1960s were an emotionally explosive time in America. The civil rights movement was reshaping the country, and young mixed-race students across the nation were filled with both hope and rage. Jackson became heavily involved in activism. The assassination of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. devastated him. Anger consumed him as he watched racism, inequality, and injustice continue throughout the country. In 1969, while attending Morehouse, Jackson participated in a campus protest where students held members of the College Board hostage while demanding reforms related to black education and representation. The protest lasted several days and ultimately led to Jackson being charged with unlawful confinement and temporarily suspended from school. Looking back, Jackson admitted he carried enormous anger during those years. Anger at racism, anger at feeling powerless, anger at the world.
Nobody's going to find as a recognizable link because that's what they're paid to do. Take that money and give those kids some spiritual training. Everybody's against that. Everybody talks about, you can't dictate people's religion and God. All right, whatever your God is telling you to treat other people with respect.
But beneath all of that was still the same insecurity he had carried since childhood, the fear of not being heard. Eventually, during his time at Morehouse, Jackson discovered theater through a local acting group. And for the first time in his life, everything seemed to connect. Acting gave him freedom. On stage, he could channel emotion instead of suppressing it. He could become characters who were fearless, confident, and powerful.
You revealed recently that you've had a stutter.
Have a stutter.
Have a stutter, still.
I guess when I'm doing characters, my characters don't stutter, so I don't have to worry about them. And it was funny because when I was talking about it last week, I realized that I actually started to pretend to be people who didn't stutter when I was very young so that I wouldn't stutter. That seemed to be the thing that would work for me.
The rhythm of scripts and dialogue helped him gain control over his speech. Performing became therapeutic. It wasn't just an escape from his stutter, it was an escape from himself. But while acting helped him externally, internally, he was still struggling. Throughout the 1970s and 1980s, as Jackson worked small theater roles and minor film appearances in New York, he developed a serious addiction to drugs and alcohol. What started as experimentation slowly spiraled into dependency. Over time, he became heavily addicted to crack cocaine and heroin. At the same time, he was trying to build a career, support his wife, actress and producer LaTanya Richardson, and raise their daughter. To the outside world, Samuel L. Jackson looked like another hard-working actor chasing success. But privately, his life was unraveling. He later admitted there were projects he barely remembered filming because he was constantly high. Some days revolved entirely around finding drugs. Addiction became a way to numb anxiety, anger, insecurity, and years of emotional pain that had never fully healed. Like many people battling addiction, he wasn't just escaping reality. He was escaping himself. Then came the breaking point. One day in the early 1990s, Jackson's wife and young daughter found him unconscious on the kitchen floor after a drug binge. It became impossible to deny how dangerous things had become. Shortly afterward, he entered rehab and committed himself to getting sober. That decision changed his life forever. Recovery forced Jackson to confront emotions he had spent decades burying. Sobriety wasn't just about quitting drugs. It was about rebuilding himself from the inside out. And almost immediately, life began to shift. Shortly after rehab, director Spike Lee cast Jackson in the 1991 film Jungle Fever, where he played Gator Purify, a crack addict whose life collapses because of addiction. The performance felt painfully real because it was. Jackson understood the character intimately. He had lived it. Critics were stunned by the raw authenticity of his performance, and the role earned him widespread acclaim. For the first time in years, it felt like his pain had finally been transformed into something meaningful. But the true breakthrough came 3 years later. In 1994, director Quentin Tarantino cast Jackson as Jules Winfield in Pulp Fiction, a role that would completely change his career. The performance became legendary. Every line Jackson delivered carried intensity, rhythm, confidence, and power. Ironically, the man who once struggled to speak had now become famous because of his voice. The same speech impediment that once made him feel ashamed had evolved into one of the most iconic voices in entertainment history. The role earned him an Academy Award nomination and launched him into global superstardom. From there, his career exploded. Over the next several decades, Jackson appeared in more than 150 films, becoming one of the most successful actors of all time. He starred in movies like A Time to Kill, Jackie Brown, Coach Carter, Django Unchained, The Hateful Eight, and the Star Wars Episode I, The Phantom Menace prequel trilogy as Mace Windu. Then came the Marvel Cinematic Universe, where his role as Nick Fury introduced him to an entirely new generation of fans worldwide. And despite all the success, Jackson has never hidden his struggles. He still openly discusses his stutter and admits that stress and anxiety can occasionally trigger speech blocks even today. To manage it, he sometimes uses specific anchor words to help reset his fluency, techniques he developed over years of learning how to navigate speech anxiety. Rather than pretending to be perfect, he chose honesty, and that honesty matters. Away from Hollywood, Jackson's personal life also reflects stability and growth after years of chaos. He has been married to LaTanya Richardson since 1980, a rare achievement in the entertainment industry. Together, they raised their daughter while navigating the pressures of fame, addiction recovery, and decades in the public eye. Jackson has often credited his family with helping save his life during his darkest moments and giving him a reason to keep fighting. By the 2020s, Samuel L. Jackson has become the second highest grossing actor in film history, with his movies collectively earning over $28 billion at the global box office. Over the course of his career, he received an Academy Honorary Award for his contributions to cinema, a BAFTA Award, multiple NAACP Image Awards, and widespread recognition as one of the most influential actors of his generation. But what makes his story truly inspiring isn't just the fame. It's when the fame happened. For years, he was rejected, overlooked, and underestimated. His true breakthrough didn't happen until his 40s, an age when many people already feel like life has passed them by. His story destroys the idea that it's ever too late. What makes Samuel L. Jackson's story so compelling is that his struggles didn't simply disappear once he became successful. His stutter never fully went away, and neither did the emotional scars from years of anger, addiction, and insecurity. Recovery was a long process, and personal growth came gradually over time. But despite all of it, he continued moving forward, rebuilding his life step by step. I'd like to thank Samuel L. Jackson for everything he has done for the stuttering community. His openness, perseverance, and extraordinary success continue to inspire millions around the world. Today, the boy who once felt trapped inside his own voice has become a voice recognized across the entire world. And for anyone battling stuttering, insecurity, addiction, trauma, anxiety, or self-doubt, his story carries an important reminder. Your struggles do not define the end of your story. Sometimes the very thing that once made you feel weak becomes the source of your greatest power.